First gen Tacoma. This is a measurement before the 1.5 inch or 2 inch spacer. Passenger side is from center wheel. We have about, we'll just round it up to 38. So 38 inches for passenger side. That's the center wheel. Driver's side is right around 37 inches. But then we're on my driveway here, which is kind of unlevel, so it's leaning towards your driver's side. But this is a good reference, 37 inches, center to center. So 37 here on driver and 38 inches on passenger. Jack up the truck, support it, remove the tire, remove the 3 bolts, 14 mil on the top strut mount, and 119 mil for the bottom, and then we also go ahead and remove the top upper ball joint. Just got the spacer install on the Tacoma front strut. So I tried it last week without taking the ball joint off, and I was putting a bottle jack right here trying to lower it. It doesn't work. You have to take the upper ball joint off in order for the low control arm to fully droop. So that's in there right now. Everything's nice and tight. We're gonna go ahead and put the tire on and then do the other side. I'm debating if I should take off the caliper, remove the brake rotor, and then cut this dust shield off, because this dust shield here causes a lot of problem during the off-road session. Lots of rocks get stuck behind here, causing it to squeak. So I think I might do that real quick. So I got the passenger side finished with the spacer lift. When I got to the driver's side, I had some issues. I was having issue with the bottom shock mount. The bolt was completely seized up with the rubber. So what I did was I had to chop the bolt off from here and here. So right now I need some new bushing. I went ahead and cleaned it out already. So I took my little grinder and my wire brush and cleaned it. And tomorrow I'm gonna hit the parts stores, and hopefully they sell that bushing by itself. So I'll need a bushing and a new shock mount bolt. But overall, this is a pretty easy install if there wasn't any hiccups. Like I said, you do have to remove the, you have to take off the upper ball joint. Mines are still in good shape, so I'm not gonna replace them. The boot's still good, it's still nice and stiff. The other thing I want to recommend is, while you're off, make sure you clean your brake pads. I told you guys already that I'm gonna cut the disc, so tomorrow I'll do this because it's already late right now. Don't want to mess up the neighbor. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pound some of this stuff in. Also keep in mind that when you're installing the spacer lift, the shock mount, the bottom shock mount has to go in a position where it's gonna line up to the top. So you can see right here, originally it goes like this, and then this is the center one. So if you were to put the spacer in and install it this way, it wouldn't work anymore. So all you have to do is just flip it around when you install it. So instead of going this way, you flip it around, and you can see the bottom one. The bottom one still lines with the bounce, and now that hole, that center hole, it's gonna be this one. So everything will line up. So keep that in mind. Last week when I was installing it, I took off the coils, and I didn't have to do that. So I had to go to the parts stores to go rent one of their strut, the strut compressor. So don't take off the strut compressor. Don't take off your struts. You just need to flip them around. So originally it connects to this one, this pattern. And then when you put the spacer on, you just put it this way. And if you do that way, the top will line up with the 3 bolts, and then the bottom shock mount is gonna line up as well. Driver's side is officially installed. Spacers right there. The top bolts are 17 mil, and then you can tell I reversed it. I went and bought a new bolt and washer and a nut. It was the size is an N14 by 2.5 inch or 80 millimeters. And then for the bushing, I mocked it up with the O'Reilly's bushing. That's the part number 31017. It comes with the big one and then 2 small ones. The small ones, I don't need it. Throw that into this toolbox. But then I had to press the bushing in because it was just a slightly bigger, and I used a C-clamp for that. So it's in right now, and that's good enough. So I have everything all bolted up. I'm gonna go ahead and before I put the upper ball joint back on, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the brake rotor and then cut the disc, the dust shell, just because I have a better angle with the control arm off. So let me get that over with, and then we'll have everything back together and ready to rock and roll. The installation has completed. Here are some measurements. For the driver's side, we have roughly about 38 inches. 38 inches and a quarter. On the passenger side, we have about 38 inches and a half. But keep in mind that my tire here, my passenger tire, has like a slow leak. So it's roughly around like 20 PSI right now. I'm gonna go fill it up and then do a little quick test drive, and then we'll do some remeasurements. And then also with these with this spacer lift, after like 100 miles or so, you wanna go back and just make sure you tighten all the nuts and bolts. Ball joints are good as long as you have the cotter pins, but these 3 main ones, you want to make sure you tighten them up, and just the bottom shocks mount. But overall, it looks good, man. Final results from installing these spacers. I was kind of worried that the front might be higher than the back, but we're on a level surface right now, and everything looks pretty dang level. If I feel like it, I might go and do an added leaf in the rear, just because I feel like the leaves right now are pretty weak. And also the shocks are pretty worn out. So it might be a good time to do that, but I'll think about it. Maybe after a few more off-road trips. So everything looks pretty level. You guys can see right here. You guys can see the spacer in there. It's really nice and shiny, made of aluminum. I got it on eBay for $33, shipped for free. And the spacer is advertised as a 2.5 inches. I didn't measure how thick it is, but it's definitely not 2.5 inches. What they meant is that you'll get 2.5 inches of lift, but we all know we didn't really get that. We'll go ahead and measure again. So for the driver's side, I forgot what we got, but I'll go ahead and list it in here. For the driver's side, we have exactly right on 39 inches, just shy of 39 inches. I believe we gained 1 inch on this side. It was 38 originally before the lift. And all the tire pressure are aired up to about 32, 33 PSI. And on the passenger side, we have right at 39. Oh, wow, even. So roughly even size. So it was really uneven on my driveway. So right now we have 39 inches of lift, or 39 inches from ground to fender. I'm gonna pass on the cutting my fender. I was gonna cut my fenders, but then I decided I'm not gonna do it, because reality, it's not really rubbing up here. It's not rubbing at the fender, even at full flex. This isn't the issue. The main issue is down over here. So I'm gonna do some off-road trip. After a few off-road trip, I'll see if it's still rub. If it still rubs, then we'll go ahead and start, either just leave the way it is, or we start hammering more of the pinch wheel. But for the most part, man, it drives amazing. Well, it drives kind of rough, but like I say, it's an off-road truck. Don't mind it too much. The thing about these trucks is that they might drive rough on the street, but once you go off-road and you ear down, it's totally fine. So this is what it looks like. Give you guys a full view. Woo! It looks nice. Looks very nice. I like it. Yeah, it does look a bit higher. So if you look on this side, the front looks like it's slightly higher compared to the rear, and I think it wouldn't hurt to get a lift in the rear. There's no issue with the rubbing in the rear. The whole point of putting AALs or putting more leads in the back is just to get more better suspension. And you can see right here, before I installed the spacer, the lower control arm, they were completely flat. And you can see that it's now more of an angle, and that means we'll be getting more clearance. I can see we have way more clearance. The CV angles are slightly at an angle, but that's nothing compared to my pickup. And also I noticed that the wheels, instead of being straight now, it's slightly camber in. So we might be getting some tire wear. I could go ahead and do a alignment, take it to get an alignment, but I'm not gonna bother with that. Like I said, I'm not gonna drive this vehicle too much. I'm just gonna use it for off-roading now, because the back of the differential is welded and it's not so fun driving in town unless you're doing straight highways. But if you're doing like a lot of cornering, parking lot shopping, it's not that fun. But overall, guys, if you guys are doing the installation or spacer installation, it's pretty easy. Just make sure you have the right tools. You have to lower the upper control arm, and you might want to consider getting an alignment done if this is your daily. In my case, I'm not going to get it done. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys got any questions, leave it in the comments section below. I'll see you guys on the Instagram, NuttyNu_4x4.